Good morning to you, good day to you, good evening to you. Whatever time of day it is that you're watching this, I wish you the absolute best. My name is Freed. Welcome to The Art of Being Freed. This is a podcast that focuses on growth mindset for creatives. Good day to you. This is Freed with the Art of Being Freed, and we are doing a little something different. So, this should be live. I don't know if anyone is watching it currently. I'm streaming from Riverside and I'm testing out this um, ability to live stream my art. I've been doing a show on Instagram or a live stream called Creative Frequency. It's live art every Saturday morning. I've been doing it for the past 5 Saturdays. And I was like, hey, I got this. I want to be able to do this, but actually be on camera. And I would like for the resolution on the screen to just be a bit more vibrant. So I've been testing these different screen mirroring apps for my iPad. And one of them I got is Reflector 4. So there's this big Reflector 4 trial mode here. Pardon me, had to clear my throat there. We're live, but there's this Reflector 4 trial mode banner or watermark. So I'm definitely going to purchase this if it works out. There were a couple I was going to try. Um, but I thought instead of just doing a regular video that's heavily edited and I'm talking about, growth mindset for creators, which is what the Art of Being Freed is about. I thought it'd be cool to just talk about like what I've been up to. I have not really shared any art. While it's been a while here, I haven't shared any art since July, and there are reasons why. Um, and I thought we could kind of talk about it and also talk about what to expect from this page. There's going to certainly be an adjustment as I, get ramped back up, and hopefully you're seeing this and this is looking okay. Um, Whenever I am making an attempt to come back to my art, or if I've been away for a while, I always find it soothing to draw Ninja Turtles. It's been that way since I was a kid. It's like, for whatever reason, drawing Ninja Turtles, it just kind of puts me in like a real cool space. And this picture, I already had drew it, but I figured, we can kind of redraw it. This is like an older sketch that I did back in the day. And then we could just talk about what's to come on the Art of Being Freed. And if this stream goes well, I'll play it back. I'll keep it up. Otherwise, we could just consider this like a test stream. So the past few Fridays or Saturdays, actually, but it started on a Friday, the 13th, Friday, December 13th. I was having a pretty rough day. And I remember we just got a dog that we adopted named Mikey. And I took Mikey out with Blue. Blue, we've had Blue for 4 years now. And I took him to the park and I let him off the leash, thinking he would just run around and play with Blue. But instead, Mikey he's a Jack Russell Terrier. He actually ran away. So he just ran out the park. He did a couple laps around the neighborhood, stretched through the roof because he's a little Jack Russell Terrier. And I'm like, if anything happens to Mikey, he's already an older dog. So I just immediately started feeling guilt. And we got him. We got him back. He came back. And that day I was just feeling like, a Grinch. It took me a long time to get in the holiday spirit this year. I'm dealing with a lot of grief. I had lost my mother. It's been 4 years this year. So the holiday season was a bit of a rough one. And usually when I'm looking to like kind of mellow out, what I do is I draw. And this time I said, instead of drawing by myself, and I decided to draw the Grinch, I'm going to go live on Instagram and just talk about it. talk about my day, talk about the dog running away, talk about the holiday season and all of that. Because I was dealing with a lot. My gym closed. After 20 years, they closed the gym. And pardon me, after 20 years, they closed the gym. I hadn't been doing a lot of podcasting. Most of the videos I did last year were like repurposed. So I really just decided to like take a break from it all. Like, I came into 2024 and I got into kind of an arrangement with this entity that would, kind of hook me up with a podcast interview or two as needed. So I thought, but this person had a paid service and he listed my podcast as a part of his directory. So he had my booking link and all of a sudden I had like 10 different podcasts booked. And I immediately felt like I lost control. So I got out of that arrangement or out of that agreement pretty quick. But from that point on, I felt like I was playing from behind and it wasn't fun anymore. I was like, okay, I don't really want to do this. And I have people, when it comes to the podcast, there are people that I want to talk to. Like it's invite only. So now the podcast is invite only. I get people that, hit me up. Hey, I want to be on a podcast and I want to come on. But I have so much that I do as it is, just from a day to day, being a father, work, dogs, all of that. It's tough for me to just say, yeah, let me talk to this random, and I don't want to call them random, but let me talk to this person that I don't know anything about. I got to figure out, who they are. And what happened was, what had happened was most of the people that were coming on were kind of like, what do you call it? Like credit coaches. And I mean, like, more power to the credit coaches. Like, that's what's up. But my niche is, we talk to creators. So this is like growth mindset for creators and creative types. So all of a sudden I'm at risk of having a podcast filled with interviews from credit coaches. And I talked to some cool people, don't get me wrong. But I just immediately knew like, okay, this is the quickest way to burn out. And there are people out there they're really pushing, they're selling shovels, right? Like, hey, monetize your podcast, this and that, and that was one of the things that I kind of got into, like, how am I monetizing going into year, 2, I believe it was year 2 last year, and or year 3. And actually, I don't know what year. I started the podcast in February of 2022. So we're almost 3 years in. And at that point, I was like, I'm going to take a step back, reevaluate what I want to do and how I want to do it, and make sure that I never allow anyone that access again. Right. So, that was on me. Like, I didn't ask the right questions. Like, it's no fault of the person. Like, I didn't feel like I was being taken advantage of or anything like that. But I immediately just lost. So I'm drawing. I believe this is Raphael right here. Okay, we're going to draw this. We're going to color it. It's looking okay. The next time we do this, that reflector 4 thing will not be there. But I just immediately felt like I lost control. And when you feel that way about something that is supposed to be fun and creative, and you feel like you're playing catch up, it's like, okay, I got to take a step back. So I took a step back and then I got back on track. And then I did release some really cool podcast episodes with people that I wanted to talk to. So any of the guests that you see on The Art of Being Freed, those are genuine connections. Aaron Victor was the last person I spoke to. Love Aaron. Aaron's my guy. I go to his live. He does a live every Wednesday and Friday on Instagram called Get Over the Hump. And that's become like a a source of coaching for me. So, I was really having a good time talking to Aaron. Chris was on here, Chris Bryant. Um, we've had some people that I've really rocked with. And I had to get to that point where I felt comfortable sharing again. So we're going to color this and use it different. I'm using Procreate. None of this is planned. I don't have anything mapped out or anything like that. I'm just wanting to give you an idea of where we're going in 2025 with the art of being freed. I don't know how this is going to look. I don't know how the final outcome is going to look. If you're, making any comments, which I don't know. I haven't been on here for months. I don't know how the algorithm works. I can't read it at this moment. I need to figure that part out. How can I have the chat open? I decided to try this. I was doing my best to use OBS. I'm definitely going to purchase this because that reflector 4 is all in the way, but I like how this is looking. OBS was too complicated. So I was like, you know what? I could do this through Riverside, which is what I use. I use Riverside because I have a PC. Hopefully the stream is good. So I ended up doing 13 podcasts last year, and it actually did very well. Those 13 episodes did very well. And I was like, okay, well, I know I'm on to something, even though I reduced the output by quite a bit. It makes sense for me to continue to, make this podcast about growth mindset for creators, because there are times where you just don't want to do it. And, it's like, how do you work through those things? Another thing is that I was going through a lot of like just personal stuff last year. Everyone goes through personal issues, personal things in their life. So I'm not exclusive, I didn't feel at the time that I was able to bring my best. Um, and I'm over here supposed to be in a position of authority on growth mindset, but I was more in a fixed mindset because of what I was going through. There was a lot of despair. There was a lot of sadness. There was a lot of anger. And really, what it turned out to be was just grief. And a lot of it was placed correctly, right? Like you go through things and you got to deal with it. And when I got into the first part of the year, I gained a lot of weight over COVID period. Just being at home, the gym wasn't open. Then I lost my mother and I went through depression. I gained a whole bunch of weight. And going into 2023, I was well over 300 pounds. And before COVID, I was probably like 230s, 240 at the most, but I was, cut up, jacked up, working out early in the morning. Like my routine was really on point. Like I'm a person who thrives on routine and structure. And I lost a lot of that. And then when you lose like the love of your mother in the process, it's really easy to go off the deep end. So I go to the doctor and then, I got my blood pressure checked and everything. This was in March. In January, I was probably like 320 or something like that. And I had lost a lot of weight. By the time I went to the doctor in March, I was about 300. So I was still big. And the doctor was like, hey, if you don't get your blood pressure together, then you're going to have to go on medication. And there's one thing I always said, like I would never go on anybody's medication, especially for blood pressure. And at this point, I'm feeling like a little hopeless. Like, wow, like this is, really happening. Like I'm starting to, truly lose myself. And what I decided to do was make the decision to take my life back. And things actually got a little harder after the decision was made. And that's usually what it is. When you make that decision to truly level up, you're going to go through several setbacks in the process, several breakdowns in the process. And I would always say, well, if I'm going through these breakdowns, that means a breakthrough's on the way. Things get tough when you're about to level up. My friend Dakran, he told me one day, he said, you are the breakthrough. And I really dug that. Let me mute my mic real quick. Okay. I had to do a little sniffle. But he said, and I'm on live. Usually I would edit that out, but I can't edit it out. So I'm gonna try to move this iPad up. But he said, you are the breakthrough, and I really felt that. And I often, like, it's easy to seek external breakthroughs, like something's coming because I'm going through this and that. And it's almost, hit my elbow there, it's almost like you want to sit back and wait for it to happen. And I took charge of my health first and foremost. So I started doing steps. I started walking a lot, like 8 to 10,000 steps a day. I and I'm just really realizing, like, yo, I'm really live on here. So I'm getting a little performance anxiety. But turn this light down just a little bit here. I was like, yo, I'm gonna get myself back together. I'm gonna go work out. The first thing I did was steps. I focused on 4,000 steps a day, and then 5,000 and 8,000 and 10,000. And I started tracking that. I started sharing those videos online. I've always been really big into fitness. Again, and sorry, a little something there. I really made it a point to share my journey. Like, I'm gonna get back in shape. So that was the first part. The second part was getting in the gym. So I got in the gym. I'm going hard in the gym. I'm doing my thing in the gym. Things are just going lovely. And I'm losing weight. I'm getting in shape. I'm looking good. But my habits still aren't the best. I'm drinking a lot of caffeine. I'm taking a lot of energy drinks. Every once in a while, I'll have an adult beverage or two. And, I'm looking good. Externally, I'm starting to look good, but internally I'm not. And, things that I've put off in the past are coming to light. So all of a sudden, even though I'm starting to look good, like at one point, I remember I had the best workout ever. And then I got real stressed one weekend and I went to the hospital and I thought I was going to die. It wasn't a heart thing. So everybody always asks, was it your heart? It's like, no, I know I'm a big dude, but it's not my heart. I take very good care, but, with blood pressure, at this point, my blood pressure is solid because I've lost a good chunk of my weight. And go to the hospital, find out I have to have surgery. It's a procedure that I've been putting off for many, many years. I was going to put the procedure off to this year, but I was like, I got to go. But in all of that, I found out that I lost 60 pounds from from January to the time of the surgery, it was going to be in November. So this is pretty recent. And I started sharing my weight loss fitness journey with people on Instagram. So that was my way to reconnect. I still wasn't doing any podcast or anything like that, but I wanted to at least share with people, like, hey, this is what I'm doing right now. And I'm gonna cut this short here soon because I gotta get ready to go to bed. I strict bedtime. But I finally did the surgery, and that was my true breakthrough. Like, that's something I had been putting off, that been in the back of my mind forever. I never had surgery before. So I was like knocked out and everything. I don't remember anything. I just got up and it was time to go home. Surgery was cool. Recovery was terrible. I'll never forget that recovery. It was very tough, but we did it. So when you talk about taking back your life, a lot of it comes down to, like, finances, health, relationships, your professional life. Like, those things should be in order. And that's not talked about a lot from people who get on like YouTube or whatever, they just kind of get on like, oh, everything's just great. And, you know, you don't have to get too personal, but I feel like for me, as someone that talks about growth mindset, it's important for me to share and be transparent on why I stopped, you know, posting. But through all of that struggle, through all of that, you know, hurt, I was able to get therapy, and I've been getting, you know, counseling for quite some time now. And it's really helped me to articulate my message in a more constructive way. This whole process has allowed me to take advantage of my gifts and share them. So I've really done a great job at, you know, reconnecting with my art. I have a book called The Art of ABCs. It's a children's book that I wrote in 2016, and it's finally about to come out. And I'm working with one of the, if not the largest, PR firm in all of the state of Arizona. They're going to help me, you know, promote it, and you know, I'll be back on TV and radio and all that good stuff, all the media. And most importantly, I've been going live and drawing like every, you know, weekend since the dog ran away. So it's been 5 weekends. We're going on weekend number 6 coming up. And on the last live stream, the way that most live streams are for me so far is that I just have the phone pointed next to the iPad. So the light source is off. The quality of the picture is not as like cool as what you see here. And, you know, I get to read the comments. So it's cool when people come in and, you know, they make comments or whatever, and I can interact with them. So I do like that. But one of the things I said on my last live stream, as I whistled through my gap there, is that I want to actually be on camera. And so that brings me to where we're going here. So last year, through all the things that happened, I ended up losing over 65 pounds of fat, close to 70 pounds. I'm wearing clothes I haven't been able to wear since 2018. Like I'm literally fitting into some really cool, I got some good clothes in there I haven't been able to wear. I, you know, got my book going. I've been doing my live streams. Even though my gym closed, I decided to, instead of waiting until January to start the new gym, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and register for this new gym now. This was in December. And I registered, and I go at 4:30 when they open. So that's why my bedtime's super strict. When I was at my best, I was doing like extraordinary things when it came to health. And one of those extraordinary things was working out when the gym opened. So by the time I am going to work, people are hitting the snooze button by the time I'm like, I'm settled, I'm in, I'm making it happen. I'm one of the first few in, right? And it's something I take pride in. Again, I believe in structure and in discipline routines, because that helps me to be the best version of myself. It allows me to pour into myself. Then I can pour into other people. Now I can talk to these credit coaches and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That I want to talk to, because I've actually made the decision to, what color should this Ninja Turtles eyes be? I've actually made the decision to pour into myself. And now I'm really good. I'm like in a good space. We could talk, you know? So that's why pretty much I just wasn't doing YouTube, because I needed to focus on me. I needed to focus on myself. I needed to make sure that I wasn't in this bad space. Um, I wasn't running away to different vices to cope. There's a lot of coping, and sobriety is big. So I talked about I'd have an adult beverage. I was never a drinker like that. Like I just didn't drink, but you know, no drinking, no smoking, no caffeine. It's just been very strict, you know, water, discipline with the bedtime, discipline with the mental, as far as what I put in my mind, what I watch, what I read, who I speak to, like all of these things had to be adjusted. And, it's truly family first. And I felt like I want to make sure I'm in a position where, pardon me, where I'm in a position where my family's good. I'm good. My family's good. Now everyone else can get the overflow. And shout out to my boy Dakrin. That's my best friend for sure. We all need somebody in our lives that we can talk to when things are going like they know you. They know you. They say a good friend is somebody who knows everything about you, but they still rock with you. Because if somebody knows a lot about you, you're going to beef, you're going to butt heads, right? It happens. But it's good to have a good friend that's like, they understand what you're going through and they're still showing up for you. But he talked about the overflow. Like you pour into yourself first and you make sure your cup runneth over. And then everyone else gets the overflow. Like the people who deserve it, I add that part. Like the folks who deserve it get the overflow. So the podcast to me, that has to be the overflow. So this is what we're going to do as we land the plane on this conversation. This podcast, this page, this channel, The Art of Being Freed, there are going to be 3 separate things on here that we're going to do. We're going to have creative frequency. Got to have creative frequency. And that's going to be live art. I know right here it says Saturdays at Freed Podcast on Instagram. But let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Saturdays at Freed Podcast, creative frequency. It looks really like low resolution, but I want to do it here. So I'm going to work to make sure we could do it here. And I want to do that weekly. And we're going to do that Saturday mornings. I need to do it. I need to find a way to do it simultaneously with YouTube and Instagram. And then we're going to have a weight loss series where I talk about my fitness journey and getting back to the shape that, I desire. I still have a ways to go. Like I'm looking to shed 30 more pounds. I got the 3 up, but 30 more pounds of fat. We want to get that out. And then, that'll be cool. So we'll do that bi-weekly. And then every Friday, we'll do the podcast, The Art of Being Free, where we focus on growth mindset for creators. So that's quite a bit, but I'm in a really good space. And I feel like now's the time to put it out, like, and share that expertise. And, with what I've gone through, I've learned quite a bit. There's a lot to, share. The editing with this was one of the reasons I kind of also took a step back because and I know they got AI. AI is not as good as the hand touch, the tangibility of really piecing it together yourself. I know I've tried, I've worked on it. It's good, but it's not as good. But I will use it in certain instances for clips. But those are the 3 directions that The Art of Being Freed is going on YouTube. We'll do the live streams on Saturdays. We'll do the weight loss fitness journey bi-weekly. I will talk about the supplements I've used, the supplements I'm using, the things I got rid of, the sleep schedule. I'll have an ebook that I'll give out for free. It won't require you to give me your email. You can just download it. And then we'll have The Art of Being Freed every Friday. So we're gonna get back to that. And we're gonna shoot for we did 13 episodes last year. So we're gonna start doing this next week, which let's see, the next debut episode of The Art of Being Freed. I don't have my calendar here. It's gonna be next Friday. Today's the 13th. What's next Friday? The 24th. So I got something going on the 24th, but I'll have it up and running by the 24th. So we'll do that. we'll do the first episode is going to be on reinventing yourself. Those are always really good ones to come back to because, total reinvention for me, losing all the weight I lost. I was looking at some of the pictures. Face was super chubby. It was crazy. So I want to make sure that we, as I put some highlights on there, that we really lean into being the best version of ourselves. Anyone that's affiliated with me, anybody that talks to me, like, I'm going to tell you, you owe it to yourself to be the best version of yourself you could be for yourself and for the people around you. Not for any external results from your job or social media, nothing like that, but for yourself. Okay, so I look forward to that. I look forward to getting that first episode out next week. Art of Being Freed, uh, reinventing yourself in 2025. Things to look out for. We'll also be on the audio anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. It's going to be available. And then we'll follow it up the following weekend. We'll do the debut of Creative Frequency that weekend, that Saturday. And then we'll do that at least through the quarter. And we'll see how we do by the end of the quarter. When I first started doing this, I was like, I'm going to commit to 35 episodes. So we'll see about that. We'll see if we can get at least 20, 21 episodes. That's a full season, like a full old school season. I was watching some TV over the holiday break, and the shows would go like 22 episodes a season. So this will either be a full series or a limited run. We're going to, vibe out and see how the schedule goes because I'm very ambitious here. And I think it's important to go over the fitness journey as well. So that is what we got. I appreciate you vibing with me. When we come back and draw, this watermark will be gone. But I did want to at least try this out and see, like, would I be able to go live and share this screen? And, I was going to use OBS and I was having all types of trouble. And I was like, yeah, OBS is definitely not a vibe. Like we got to go with something that's actually going to, let me just collapse these colors, something that's a little more user friendly because I don't want any excuses. It's really easy to just come up with the excuse like, you know what? OBS isn't working. I'll just do this another day. And it's like, no, we got to do this now. So with that said, this is Freed with the Art of Being Freed. I appreciate you coming through. Until next Friday, where we are going to be talking about the art of reinventing yourself in 2025, I will see you soon. Peace.